120, 3 out of 4 live in climate fragile areas, or rather find themselves displaced in climate fragile areas, are compelled, are obliged to move again. The first time, maybe, for example, by conflict, the second time because there is a drought. I give you just an example. That's why it's called no escape, because it's like a continuous pressure on people to move. What the report suggests, what we suggest at UNHCR, is really 4 key messages, 4 key directions. And one is the most obvious: accelerate the reduction of the carbon footprint, because that will have, hopefully, a positive effect in the direction of climate change in general, but in particular for people that are most vulnerable. Second, we use the word protect in UNHCR.
Come over here. Well, that was you, Sam. Thank you very much. I've had a series of meetings here at COP this week because this government recognises that the world stands at a critical juncture in the climate crisis. And the United Kingdom not only has a critical role to play, but also an opportunity to grasp. The chance to maximise opportunities for Britain and make us more secure in the here and now. The way I see it, there are two paths ahead. One, the path of inaction and delay, leading to further decline and vulnerability. Warming above 1.5 degrees will expose hundreds of thousands more people in the UK to flood risk, greater economic instability and national insecurity. Or second, the path we walk, eyes wide open, not just to the challenges of today, but also fixed firmly on the opportunities for tomorrow. This is the path towards national security, energy independence, and the economic stability necessary to boost living standards for working people. Now, let me be clear. There is no national security, there is no economic security, there is no global security without climate security. And this is a huge opportunity for investment, for UK businesses, for British workers, if we act now to lead the world in the economy of tomorrow. This is how we move towards better jobs, cheaper bills, higher growth, the industries and technologies of the future, and ensure the prosperity and security of our nation for decades to come. And prosperity and security of our nation are the issues that the British people care about. And that is why from the beginning this government has done things differently, restoring our role as a climate leader on the world stage, as well as taking action at home. In the first 100 days of this government, We scrapped the ban on onshore wind. We committed to no new North Sea oil and gas licenses, began to renew those North Sea communities with a programme of investment in the jobs and industries of the future. We closed the UK's final coal power plant at the end of September, becoming the very first G7 economy to phase out coal power. And at the same time, we are on a mission to achieve clean power by 2030. We launched Great British Energy, a clean British energy company, to improve our energy resilience, bring down people's bills, and create the next generation of good, well-paid jobs. We set up the National Wealth Fund to invest in tomorrow's key industries, to build the infrastructure, the wind farms, the solar farms, the grid infrastructure, to power and connect our country for decades to come. Because, make no mistake, the race is on for the clean energy jobs of the future, the economy of tomorrow. And I don't want to be in the middle of the pack. I want to get ahead of the game, whether that's with carbon capture in Teesside and Merseyside, where last month I announced funding for carbon capture, utilisation and storage projects that will create 4,000 new jobs using the skills of oil and gas communities as we accelerate towards net zero. Or green hydrogen, with investment announced in last month's budget for 11 green hydrogen projects across Britain, from Bridgend to Barrow in Furness. This is good news for the people of Britain. It is good for our businesses. It is good for our country. And it's good for the planet. So at this COP, I was pleased to announce that we're building on our reputation as a climate leader, with the UK's 2035 NDC target to reduce all greenhouse gas emissions by at least 81% on 1990 levels. Our goal of 1.5 degrees is aligned with our goals for growth. But a global problem also requires global partnership, responsible international cooperation, which is why we took the opportunity at this COP to again urge all parties to come forward with ambitious targets of their own, as we all agreed at the last COP. And through the NDC partnership, we're supporting developing countries to develop their own commitments. We will also soon be launching the Global Clean Power Alliance, a political alliance of countries committed to accelerating the clean energy transition, including unlocking the private finances that are needed. That is why I was pleased to announce Scottish Power has awarded a £1 billion wind farm turbine contract to Siemens Gamesa, part of their £24 billion investment plan to support British pioneering energy projects, which will inject growth into our industrial heartlands and support 1,300 local jobs around Hull and produce enough clean energy to power 1 million homes, as well as the Clean Industry Bonus Scheme to support offshore wind developers, invest in cutting-edge manufacturing and ports, boost green jobs, and strengthen supply chains. And the launch of the new CIF capital market mechanism on the London Stock Exchange, a joint effort announced today with our international partners and the City of London, with the potential to mobilise up to $75 billion in additional climate capital for developing countries over the next decade, and cementing London as the world's leading green global financial centre, showing that Britain is open for business and back as a global leader. This COP, the UK has sent a clear message. We are delivering on our promise for good jobs, cheaper bills and higher growth. We are backing UK energy and security on the world stage. We are a key partner for countries, for investors and for businesses. And we're renewing the UK's climate leadership to deliver for Britain My mission is to make sure our country and our children have the prosperity, the security, and the stability that they deserve for generations to come. With this government, the UK will lead the way and lead Britain and the world into a cleaner, safer, and more prosperous future for all. Thank you very much. I'll now take a series of questions, starting, I think, with Alex from the BBC. Alex.
Prime Minister, thank you. Alex Forsyth, BBC. You've set out this ambitious target on emissions, but you've not really set out how you're going to get there. What is this going to mean? Is it fewer car journeys, fewer gas boilers, more expensive food? What is the potential cost to people?
Well, we've set out the target, which is an important, ambitious target. What we're not going to do is start telling people how to live their lives. We're not going to start dictating to people what they do, but we are going to be clear that that involves hitting the Clean Power 2030 mission that we've set out, one of the 5 big projects of government. That is vital. So we will hit that. It is an ambitious target, it's a realisable target, but it's not going to be one in which we tell people how to live their lives. Thank you. Anushka.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
ITV.
Anushka Stana, ITV News. Just a domestic question. Have you decided how you will vote in the assisted dying bill, and will you be making arguments to MPs? And just on COP, are you disappointed so few G20 leaders are here?
On the question of assisted dying, obviously it's a very important question on which views differ, strongly held views on either side. When I was Chief Prosecutor, I was involved in drawing up guidelines. We had a massive consultation exercise, and I saw firsthand the depth and the strength of the arguments on both sides. That is why this will be a free vote, and it will be a free vote where every MP can decide for themselves what position they want to take on the bill, and I will not be putting pressure on any MP to vote one way or the other. I personally will study the details of the bill which has now been published today, because safeguards have always been extremely important to me and were an essential part of the guidelines that I myself drew up when I was Chief Prosecutor. Thank you. I'm sorry, on the second question, look, we are here to show leadership. We are here because I see this not only as one of the most important challenges we face globally, but one of the most important opportunities. And that is why I was very pleased to announce from COP, that £1 billion into jobs which will be in Hull. That's a material step forward. I remember giving speeches not many years ago when I was railing against the fact that if you looked at our onshore wind farms, particularly in Scotland, none of them were made in the UK, and we are turning that around with the announcement I've made today. So these are some of the opportunities that are measured in good, well-paid jobs for many years to come. Sam at Sky.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Sam Coates, Sky News. Another domestic question. I just want to know whether you think that Justin Welby should resign as Archbishop of Canterbury, although I guess you're not going to answer that question directly. So I want to also ask about the big principle here. Do you think that people in public life who fail to intervene when they're alerted to potential criminality should face consequences? Do you agree with that principle?
Let me be clear. Of what I know of the allegations, they're clearly horrific in relation to this particular case. Both in their scale and their content. And my thoughts, as they are with all of these issues, are with the victims here, who have obviously been failed very, very badly. I'm not, it's a matter in the end for the church, but I'm not going to shy away from the fact that saying these are horrific allegations and that my thoughts are with the victims in relation to it. I think that's very important. Thank you, Sam. Chris from GB News.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Also a domestic question, if I may. On your inheritance tax plans for farmers, John McTernan, a former aide to Tony Blair, of course the Labour Prime Minister, says your party wants to do to the farmers what Thatcher did to the miners. It's an industry we can do without. Is that what you think about farming?
No, I totally disagree. I'm absolutely committed to supporting our farmers. I said that before the election, and I say it after the election. That is why in our budget last week, I was very pleased that we're investing £5 billion of our budget over the next 2 years into farming. That is really important for our farmers, and I will do everything I can to support them, because I think it's essential that they not only prosper, but prosper well into the future. So I totally disagree with those comments. Thank you, Chris. I go to Max at the Times.
Thank you, Prime Minister. The document that your new emissions target is based on explicitly says that about 10% of the reduced emissions will come from reducing demand for carbon-intensive activities, including meat and dairy products, and reductions in travel. You've said you won't tell people how to live their lives, but is it really possible you can hit the target you outlined today without any changes to how people live their everyday lives?
Yes, of course it is. The target is my target, and the plan is my plan. I'm not borrowing from somebody else's plan. The target is, as I've set out today. I don't think that as we tackle this really important issue, the way to do it is to tell people how to run their lives and instruct them how to behave. And I'm not going to do that. I made a commitment before the election and shortly after the election that we'd be a government that trod lightly on people's lives. And I'm not going to now go around telling people how to live their lives. I do think that the single and most important milestone in hitting the target we've set out today is Clean Power 2030, which I know is tough. We set it out because we knew it would be tough. I'm absolutely sure we can do it, and we're fully committed to doing so. Thank you very much. Hugo from I.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Hugo Joe from the I newspaper. As well as climate, you've had talks this week on Ukraine. The incoming US President Donald Trump and his team have expressed a wide range of different views on the war in Ukraine. You're a strong supporter of Ukraine's right to continue defending itself against Russia. What is your message to Donald Trump about what stance he should take on this conflict?
I'm not going to start sending messages to the President-elect, but I'm very happy to be very clear about what my own position is, because it's been my position since the very start, which is that we strongly support Ukraine in the face of Russian aggression. And I'm very proud of the fact that the UK has stood firm in that commitment throughout the duration of this conflict. I now think that we need to put Ukraine in the best possible position as we go forward, and that has been the centre of the discussions that I've been having with other leaders in recent weeks. So strong support for Ukraine, want to put Ukraine in the best possible, strongest position as we go forward. And I'm not going to be drawn into discussions about capabilities in relation to that, but that is the strong and in principle position that I take. Thank you very much. And Ashley from the Mirror.
Hi. Private jet flights have soared in recent years. Is it now time to ban them outright for personal use? And what's your message to Donald Trump, who's threatening to pull out the Paris Climate Agreement?
Look, again, back to what I've said a number of times now. I'm not going to tell people how to behave. We had a number of important points that we made in the budget in relation to private jets, as you will know. The central most important thing for me here at COP is, one, to continue to show UK leadership on climate at this critical time, and we will continue to do so. To make sure that we are the enablers of the leveraging of private capital now towards the targets that need to be set, to set our own target, as I've just done, in relation to emissions. But most importantly, to be clear that I see this not just as a global challenge, but a global opportunity. If you look at where global investors are investing, they are investing in renewables. And everybody knows there's a transition, an energy transition. These things happen quite rarely, once in a generation usually, perhaps a little bit longer than that, where there's a global transition on energy. And the lesson from history is to go into that transition with a clear plan for a just outcome, but also to take advantage of being a first mover in that, and that's what I want us to be, which is why I say there's a race on for the next generation of jobs. They're good, well-paid jobs. Other countries are in that race. I want to be in it, and I want to win it for the UK, because that will be measured in jobs, well-paid, good, secure jobs in the UK for many years to come. That is consistent with what I want to do on growing the economy. It's consistent with the vision of Britain I have, as a Britain that is better off with the dignity and respect of well-paid jobs in every single part of the United Kingdom, and I'm absolutely determined to take those opportunities. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.